All right. What's going on, my freaks and geeks? This is the Score Roundtable podcast. What is going on, guys? I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We're going to hit y'all with another dope podcast. But first of all, I wanted to start off by thanking all of our viewers, listeners, all of our family and friends out there. We really appreciate y'all. Couple days ago, we actually hit a big milestone, guys, on our podcast network, Fandom Limb. Over 1,000 podcasts downloaded, y'all. Actually, I think right now we're at 1,027. So, yo, guys, let's clap it up for ourselves. Like, dopeness, pure dopeness, man. But and we, yeah, man, it's awesome, man. Of course, we put in the work to try to make some good content for y'all, but of course we can't do any of this without you guys listening to us, or you make us feel important. I'm glad that you care about what we have to say. We really appreciate it, guys, and we're gonna do it again for you tonight. We have another dope podcast. So my boy Marcus came to me with an idea to talk about some of the craziness that's going on recently. We always talk about film and we talk about cinema. We're all cinephiles here at the Square Roundtable podcast, but we want to take it and flip it because there's been a lot of craziness surrounding my boy Will Smith lately, man. And unless you guys live under a rock, if you have any kind of social media at all, you'll see all the memes about my boy Will Smith smacking the taste out of Chris Rock. Yeah, we got to talk about it. I didn't want to, but we got to say something about it, man.
We might as well. Man.
Yeah. So, Marcus, go ahead and since it was your idea, bro, go ahead and start us off. What are your initial thoughts? Because you're the one that told me that this happened. I thought it was a joke. Yeah. I was literally sitting on my couch.
Yeah,
I didn't even see it live. When you when you texted that to me and was like, bro, did you see that slap? I thought it was like some kind of weird joke. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Bro, I was so serious, bro. I don't joke about stuff like this. I know I do sometimes. It wasn't April Fool's, so that wasn't a joke. Right. But nah, I said it's crazy because like I told you, Chad, I haven't been watching the Oscars for a minute now because I've been pleased with the doing folks. So I just had stopped watching it. So it's been about probably 2-3 years now. So I said, man, look, they got Beyonce opening the show, I heard. Then they got two black actors in the category for leading actor, for actor in the leading role. I was like, you got a woman of color for supporting actors from the Afro-Latino community. Yep. You know, you got 3 women hosting, 2 African American.
Yep.
So I'm like, you got all this, you got producers. I think Will Packer was one of the producers. And there was 2 other black people. I'm not sure exact numbers, but I know we had people producing. So I'm like, bro, we here. So I'm like, I'm gonna check it out. Yeah. Shout out to Wanda Sykes.
Big shout
Regina Hall. I always say the wrong one, but Regina
Hall. I was
Hall.
about to say Regina King too.
What's my girl? The girl who be in the comedy movies.
Yeah,
Amy Schumer.
Oh, that's my girl.
They did a great job.
Big shout out.
They did a great job, man.
That's Bay right there.
Shout out to them. They did a great job. Shout out to Meg Thee Stallion, man. I gotta get at her. She did it in a very classy way. I love that.
For sure.
She brought herself to the Oscar. So just to say all that, you got all that going on. So it's like a good night. You know, all of this great like cultural shift that's going on, and then you go and get some foolishness to come behind it, so it take away from all that, and that sucks because it's already hard for women, and then especially black women, to get on that kind of platform and do those things. I don't know, and then the whole thing. But other than that, like I said, I decided to watch it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, it's Chris Rock, so I know he's gonna do some lame jokes about people because that's what he does. He talks about folks. Yeah. That's how he gets his thing and all that. So I was like, okay, he gonna do the same old Chris Rock. Oh, look at him right there. I remember when you was in a movie with me and all that. So when he said the G.I. Jane joke, I got it because I knew what he was saying.
Same.
But then I seen her face and I was like, Oh, I forgot she got, what is it?
Alopecia.
Alopecia. Yeah. And I was like, oh shoot. I said she done made a face. So this finna be a whole thing. But Will was laughing.
He was completely laughing.
So I was like, oh, okay. So Will laughing. So he must get the butt of the joke. Next thing I know, Chris is like looking and he said, oh, I see this mother walking up the stage, and then he slapped her. Literally, my face was just like frozen because I was like, bro, is this really happening right now? So like, you was like the first person I could think of to text because we was all on Instagram. So I was like, I gotta tell somebody who at least will believe me somewhat. So I told you because I was like, he might think I'm lying, but at least he'll try to listen to me. So I'm just like, bro, what is going on? And then once it all sunk in, I was like, man, this is not good, bro. This is not a good look
at all.
It is not a good. And it before we get deep into it, I just want people to understand why it's such a bad look and why it means so much that he made a bad decision and how it hurts us and sets us back. What they say, 10 steps forward, but
3 steps back.
3 steps back. There you go, Josh, my man. So basically, like, for the longest, we all know this here at the Square Round Table, but for the longest, it's been hard for us to even be accepted at the Oscars. And just from the numbers, it's still like that because I was just looking it up. It's been 5 African Americans to win the award for Best Actor. 1 woman out of those 5. 7 men to win supporting. 9 women to win supporting. No Black director has ever won for Best Film. But 2 have, I think, won for Best Original Screenplay, which Peele and Spike Lee. Okay, no Black woman has ever been nominated for Best Director or anything like that. So it's like we, but we still we still not there. You see what I'm saying? So it's to the point where if you go back, so in the 94-year history of the Oscars, if you even just go back, let me see, 80-something years now, because I'm trying to think how old my grandmother is. So yeah, it'll be about 80-some years now. When Hattie McDaniel became the first African-American to win an award, just period, she couldn't even go and be in the same room with the other people that were being presented for Oscars that night. She was in a whole separate room because she was a colored woman at the time. That's what they called them. So she had to accept her award in a different place and do a whole speech and everything. So that shows you that we go from having to be in separate rooms. Then you get Sidney Poitier, who is the first for Best Actor. And he actually could be in that room. So it's like these people laying these bricks slowly to build up the house where we could come in there. And a lot of people are looking at it the wrong way. They're like, well, I'm glad Will slapped him because he ain't chucking and jiving for the white man at the Oscars and he's stepping up for his wife. But that's cool. And when we outside and we in the community and stuff, we not in a place like that. But people got to look at the bigger picture. It ain't about trying to please the white man or whatever you want to say. It's about having that dignity and respect for our race. And it make it harder for the people that comes after that because, like I always say, we proving a point. And if it's one thing I can't stand, it's for us to prove their point. And they be like, yep, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. There they go. That's what they're gonna do. They're always gonna act. It takes one. It just takes one. It just takes one time. It just takes one time. And you got all these people who came before you who gave you the opportunity to sit. I'm talking about front row, close to the stage at the Oscars as an African American man. That's like big on a night. Like I said, with Black producers there, 3 women hosting. That's big. So it's sometimes, I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes you get caught up in your emotions and you got to learn how to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to let it go. And then you go and win, and now you sitting up there looking stupid because you gotta say a speech and try to apologize about what you did.
Basically.
And it's just it's crazy. So it's for me, it's personal, a little bit more personal, because I'm actually trying to get that field of work. It makes it harder for somebody like me who ain't even got there yet. Like, it's so what's gonna happen in the next 20 years? Are they gonna still let us come to the Oscars? Is it gonna go back to one per category again? You know what I'm saying? It's just, you just think about these things, because there's always repercussions to your actions, no matter what you do. So I hate it. I hate it's like that as a race, that we have to be on our toes like that all the time, but it's just the way the world is.
No, it is, man. And I think a big thing is, like you were saying, with people taking the emotion out of it, of the husband and wife dynamic and everything that they got going on. And like you said, looking at the bigger picture, because at the end of the day, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm completely surprised by Will Smith's actions. I think it's great, you know what I'm saying, that you defend. That you defend your wife. I think it's horrible for the people out there that are suffering from alopecia, and I'm sure that's very much so a touching subject. I know I brought this conversation to my mom, and she was telling me, schooled me a little bit, because I won't say I was heated, but I was where you were at, Marcus. I was just like, bro, like, what are you doing? And I think I'll get to that part of the conversation later, just talking about Will Smith specifically. But she was telling me, how hair to women, especially to a Black woman, is like completely important. And that's their crown, their personality, you know what I'm saying? And she was telling me how, Jada was probably really sensitive towards that. And Chris Rock pointed that out. And her having that condition probably wasn't the best thing to discuss, especially like in a jokingly manner. So in that way, I definitely feel like Will Smith had the right idea in defending his wife. My only thing is like playing the devil's advocate and agreeing with both her and you, was just saying that there was, I think, a different way that could have been handled. You didn't have to straight up pimp slap my man on stage in front of the whole world. You know what I'm saying? It's just because, and this is my other part of that. It's just, I look at it like myself. You know what I'm saying? I put myself in Will's shoes. So I'm just like, you spent your whole entire life building up this career, building up this persona, pretty much being a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? Being somebody that they're like, yeah, positive. You know what? That exactly, being like that positive person, that person that everybody goes to, the Black guy that's accountable, that people can count on. You don't have a smudge on your record. And then in one night, all of that crumbles. And it's just, dang, man. Like I told Joshua, like Will Smith is basically like the Mr. Rogers of the Black community. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's like
pretty much.
It's just like a Mr. Rogers got on stage and smacked somebody across the face. It's like, whoa, Fred. You know, it's like, wait a second. So
look, he do like he did in Black Dynamite. Crazy
for me. And I think somebody made a joke that it was a Benedict Cumberbatch joke, basically saying that Will Smith has messed up the new timeline and all of that kind of stuff. But
man, he has, man. Look,
but in a way, he has.
Jim Carrey about to retire. Bruce Willis got a disease, now retired, man.
He's about to retire, and it's just like, in the world of comedy, is definitely is going to have to change because of this. Literally, is like a lot of comedians are like, oh wow,
you know what? I didn't even think of it like that, because another topic that we typically have on our show is like, how it's just certain types of comedy just can't really survive in this particular climate, and like basically the whole situation is definitely gonna, like you said, Chad, change the face of how comedy is going to be received by just by people.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to, because now it's just, okay, this is a thing that can happen. that I didn't think could happen. But now, because I made a joke, I was like, oh no, I know Meryl Streep up in there. Wait a second. I thought there was security. You mean people can walk up on the stage? I was just looking. I was looking at all the old folks walking past Will Smith. It was like, oh my God.
What?
Let me hurry up and get this award.
What is going on?
Yeah, man.
And another thing too, it was messed up too because it messed up another great moment. Questlove had won for best documentary for Summer of Soul.
Yep.
And that's what Chris Rock was presenting for best documentary film. And he was sitting up there talking about how his dad had passed and stuff, and he was having an emotional moment, but it took away from it because like people just in awe of what just happened. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about right there. You took away from that man's moment. Somebody who's really worked hard to get there. He's actually worked hard to get where he is.
Oh yeah.
Because he's not an actor or nothing. He's a musician. And he's sitting up there and he's winning an Oscar. And his mother is there and stuff. It's stuff like that. And then just like that, his mother is there. You got people's mothers there. Your mother watching. You got Denzel and his wife there. You got Samuel and his wife there. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's like when we go somewhere and our parents just tell us, all right, you gotta behave because the elders are in the building. Don't be out here looking at food. And that go with you until you become old and gray yourself. So it's just
seriously.
You take away from people's moments. No, I was just saying, just like Chad said, I understand you. This is the only thing. Was he wrong for standing up for his wife, like you said, Chad? No. But the way he did it, it was absolutely wrong. And I'll even go to the extent to say this, and I'll probably get some, lack about it from people, but she has just as much to do with it as him, because if she's the wife she's supposed to be and being there for her husband of how many of years they've been married, why didn't you come to his defense or say, before he even get up, you grab him and say,
what are you doing?
We not doing that. We worked too hard to get here. No, we not doing that. But she just let him go. So that shows you how much she care about you and your career. Because she ain't the one who got to go try to get movies now and go and make appearances. That's you, because you the face of the family. You Will Smith. Yeah, she's an actress too. But when the last time she done really been in something as big as you and carried that name like you? You just released a whole series, a reboot of a show that you came up with and stuff. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got stuff you're still doing, and she ain't even trying to hold down the fort and be like, hey, you know what about that? We ain't even gonna let that bother us, because for one, we know how he is, and you here on a special night. And then just like what happened, turn around and win. So that's why people say you can't let the devil get you at your highest moments. He told Denzel said to him, but you obviously forgot that, because you
forgot it.
The devil get you.
I'm telling you.
So
you forgot it immediately. Exactly.
He got a lot of like fixing to do to that, because that's gonna carry with him for a long time. I hate to say it, but it's like it's half the people are giving him a pat on the back for it, and then it's a very minimum of people who know he shouldn't get that. And I think that's not. I think people should hold him responsible more for what he did, because it's wrong the way he carried it out. Not the idea, the thought, it's the way you did it.
Well, I just
exactly. And
go ahead, Josh. What are you about to say?
Yeah, like you were saying, Marcus. He not only I wouldn't say he put a smudge on like Black people or people of color, but it's just not really. It's just not really a good look, especially how we had to deal with so much. We had to work so hard to get to where we are in that particular field. And he also just like took away from other people's moments that were there at the Oscars, because the Oscars is supposed to be like a place for love and celebration, like people getting their awards for stuff that they worked hard on and stuff like that. It's just like he was saying, he's gonna have to, basically people are gonna have a hard time. I think they're gonna have a hard time trying to get over the slap, because it's an award show, like probably like one of the most prestigious award shows ever. So it's just unfortunate.
No, it really is. And like I said, I always think about how I, not even just as a black man, just as a human being, have to be held accountable for certain things. Because in the grand scheme of things, all of us, we're doing great things. We aren't like world celebrities, but at the end of the day, I'm expected to act a certain way. And I know the implications of what would happen if I don't. I know that I can't just throw anything on social media, because even though I might not have a huge reach, I still have people that are affected by the things that I do. And that includes my mom, that includes you, Josh, my younger brother. That includes the name of our podcast. If I'm out here doing all kind of craziness, that brings a bad light on us. I got organizations that I'm a part of, and if I'm out here acting crazy, that brings a bad light on them. I got, academic integrity to worry about. If I'm out here acting crazy, that brings a bad light on whatever institutions I'm a part of. So my thing is, I know my mom would always tell me, and that's a conversation that we had also, is like, hey, you can't just do something because you're mad. You can't just
my mom used to tell me that all the time.
Yeah. Like, exactly. Like you cannot like just do something because and use the excuse, well, I was mad. No, that's because my thing is, look how, go ahead. What are you about to say?
No, I was just gonna say, I gotta ask you this though, because I know your mom and my mom were similar. I know she jokingly said too, if that was you and you went up there and just slapped him, I come and slap you because you should have hit him harder than that. I knew. I was like, I know your mom made that joke, bro, because mine
of course
did. She said, boy, if you did that, I would come slap you myself just for embarrassing me like that.
Bro, I'm telling you, I wouldn't even been able to get out my seat. Like, as soon as I got up, she would have been like, sit down.
I'm telling you, bro. And like, and like I said, and here's the part that killed me. It was like not even the slap. It was the aftermath of excuses. That whole speech was full of excuses. And that was just like, and like I said, you got to think about what's the fallout from this, who you are, how many people are eating off of your name. You just made a brand new show, and all of these new cast members and all these folks are eating. The people from the King Richard movie are eating. Your kids are eating off of your name. That once this happens, social media is gonna blow up. I don't think they're gonna. I honestly don't think they're gonna take his Oscar away from him. But there's certainly gonna be some kind of. There's gonna be some kind of fallout from the Academy. Something's gonna happen. Is it going to be harder for him to get roles in the future? I think so. Because guess what? You're looked at now. You're looked at as problematic. Now you're looked at as a problematic, angry black man. And that ain't nothing any of us want.
And it don't help that on top of after you slapped him, you go and you had the outburst and you cursing and stuff. So now that adds more flame.
On top of all that.
Yeah.
So and you got Venus and Serena sitting, and you represent that family, bro.
Let me tell you about that too. Look, because that part of it, that I think that's the part of it that made me, because I love Will, you know what I'm saying? I can't say, but the part that killed me was just like when he wanted to sit up there with this man's daughters in the crowd and say, I went up here and slapped this man because I fought for my family like Richard did.
Nah,
what?
Bro.
Yeah,
you're saying that my father,
that man like that.
You're right. You're saying that my father inspired you to commit an act of violence on somebody that was, for the most part, undeserving because he was doing his job.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
So I'm just like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that excuse. That didn't vibe with me at all.
No, and like, and to add further implications of that, Chris Rock was like, "Oh, he said something like, here, Richard." It's like, oh man, like, so
I'm just like, dang, man, you got Venus and Serena's dad out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't make him out to be a clown or something. You know what I'm saying? Because for the most part, as you portrayed him in the film, he was for the most part a pacifist. He didn't fight. You know what I'm saying? So and he even went and said in the media after Will Smith put his name on that kind of stuff that no, that's not how we get down. I don't fight unless defending myself. You know, and then looking at Venus and Serena's face, they look shocked. Like they just were like, what?
So it's just they like, is this really happening? So man, it looked bad, man. It looked bad.
It just wasn't a good look.
And like I was saying, like it's definitely going to be harder for him to get certain roles because the person making the person or persons making that movie might not want that reputation of having the guy that's like the guy that slapped a comedian on a popular award show
at the Oscars.
Right. Well, what's the word they'll use, Marcus? Problematic, right?
Yeah.
Problematic, yes, bro.
So it's
crazy.
It's just one of them. Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's just one of them things. And like I said, it's not that I don't respect him or I'm not a fan. I just really think that choice, it just didn't have to be made right there. Amy Schumer and Wanda Sykes said it perfectly. You got to even think about them. It's like, this was our event. You know what I'm saying? We were the hosts of this show. And
now that's tagged to them.
For the rest of their careers.
Awards where Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. You know, like that's crazy. And like I said, it's already hard to get stuff like that, bro. Like, you don't make stuff any easier for a lot of people, bro. You really don't. I don't think he understood it until he actually won the award, and he was like, "Oh shit, I actually got to go up here and face all these people that I just let down."
Yeah,
and then he go with them crocodile tears.
Exactly.
Trying to get people to, nah, you can't do that, Will. And like you said, I love Will Smith, man. We grew up watching him, his movies, the show, Prince. You got Bel Air out that we actually was watching, and it's pretty good. And we was supporting that. And it's, bro, I'm not to the point where I'm like, bro, I don't know if I hate him. I'll never support him in anything. I'm just disappointed because of the image it just leaves behind. And it's never going to go away.
Yeah.
Because, see, it'd be different if this happened in 1940, cameras and stock footage, and that's all you can see. You have to go look for it. But this is literally during the social media age where everything is everywhere. It's not gonna ever go away.
It was on Twitter immediately. It was on Twitter.
That's what I'm saying. So you just think about stuff like that, bro. You really do. And it's crazy because I've just listened to people when they talk about it that I know and that I've seen, and it's 90% of these people want to say, they use these two things. That's right, Will. You stand up for your woman, the black queen, and all that. And they say, that's right. You don't let them white folks get in your head. Are y'all listening to yourself?
You sound crazy.
Do you think that Dr. King or Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, or Madam C.J. Walker, or any of those people from that time, if they go in a room and they had to bust they behind and get beat, thrown out in the streets, and get told no all the time, and they work their way to get in there, even though they know the fact that the room they in is surrounded by people who don't want them there, they're not gonna act like that they know is people there that don't want them there. They're gonna go in there with dignity, and they're gonna hold themselves with the utmost pride and respect because they know that they have to represent a whole race of people. Not to say that's what Will Smith is doing, but you got to think about that. Even if you're not asking for it, you got to remember the people that you carrying on your shoulders, and it's us.
Yeah,
it's us. So it's like I say, I hate it has to be like, but one day, if Lord willing, that's gonna be us, and we have to make those decisions to be like, hey man, I can't do that because I know this little kid, whether he black, yellow, whatever color he is watching me, and I'm setting a bad example. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously.
It's a time and place for everything, man. And it really baffles me when I hear people say that because it's like, are you serious, bro? Just think. Sometimes you gotta think about it. And you gotta think outside the box, man. You can't fall into what the media wants you to do. And that's what the media wants us to say. They want us to be the supporters and uplift them because they want to go ahead. See, That's what I'm talking about. See all these people behind them and what they saying? That's why we ain't gonna have them back. We're gonna start doing this. Watch, it's gonna be
this stuff is gonna change.
Like everything is finna change because of one thing. And who is it that did it? Us.
Exactly.
It's us. It's us, man. And because even though it's that one person, it's still us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you made a good point by saying that fit on like when you do something as a minority that you're carrying everybody on your shoulders, because in a way you are, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, because there's such a small number of us in these places that every mark that we can get, everything is important. Every step, you can't miss step. It's important. We're like, and the funny part is, which is the reason that I knew that what Will was saying was just a complete excuse, because the main takeaway from that film that he was in, which he did a beautiful job on, King Richard, one of the last scenes of the movie, Richard looks at Venus and he's like, hey, I know you probably don't want to, but at the end of the day, you are carrying all those little African American girls on your back, and you got to stand up and be greater than. I don't want you out here boasting and prideful. You're going to get out there, you're going to do what you need to do, and you're going to go home, and you're going to do it, and you're going to do it with integrity and pride. And then, but you turn around in real life, and you were so inspired by this film that you did, and you totally throw away that doctrine. Like I said, and that's the part that kills me, because at the end of the day, you didn't get up there and do what you needed to do with pride and integrity, because like you said, Marcus, people got it flipped upside down. It's not shucking and jiving. It's not trying to impress somebody. It's having integrity as an African American man, and getting up there and doing what you need to do, and then handling your personal business on your personal time.
Exactly. You said the key thing just right there. Your personal business on your personal time, bro. You
not on the world stage. Not on the world stage.
Exactly. When you got right now on the world stage, when you have like like basically like I was saying, like now on the world stage, when like you have all these people that have looked up to you and helped you get this award.
Yeah. Exactly. And held you to a certain standard. Not saying we thought didn't nobody think you were soft? You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody think we held you to a certain standard? And we wouldn't have thought no different
if you would have took that and just went on about your business. Trust me.
Exactly.
Me. Because for one, it's Chris Rock. Chris Rock is still trying to keep himself relevant. He ain't really been doing a lot lately, so he's just trying to, and like you said, he's doing his job. So
he's a comedian, man.
Right.
He's a comedian, and comedians do stuff like that. Yes, we're not saying he's right for talking about something like that, and that's very sensitive subject for her. But at the end of the day, you have to separate yourself and be like, hey, he doing his job. I don't like what he's saying, but hey, what can I do about it? It's just words. Our parents always taught us that. It's just words.
It's just
words can't hurt you. They can't physically hurt you. I say it like that. They can't physically hurt you. So you shouldn't go and physically put harm to someone. Because let's just say, what if he smacked him and he might have hurt him or something? You know what I'm saying?
You never know. Or it escalated. They could have been tussling in the middle of the Oscars.
And then that's even worse. You know what I'm saying?
Or he could have been sued. Chris Rock didn't even sue him.
Exactly. He said, nah, I ain't gonna do none of that. I ain't gonna press charges, none of that. So it's, bro, you getting all these, like, bro, it's just crazy. But I was gonna say, too, I just want people to hold both of them accountable for this situation. I don't think Will should get all of the blame. It should be put on the husband and wife, because they both have part to do with it, and she just as much as him could have stopped it. So both parties should take for that, because we want to. Everybody want to sit and talk about defending her. He defending his queen, but what about the queen defending the king? And that's another thing we don't get enough of. Black women, y'all gotta defend black men too. We need y'all too. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't always think with our heads when we get in a moment like that. And that's when y'all got to be like, hey, So we gotta defend each other and protect each other, man, because y'all see it's hard out here, man. And they will find they waiting for things like that to happen. They waiting for it. And then, like I'm saying, you got not just people, Josh, the world watching this. You gotta remember that now. We got people in other countries looking at this. You know what I'm saying? You got people who's from other countries at the awards, who's never probably been in America before.
Yeah.
So what they get to see with us, that's already how they learn our culture and what we about through media and TV, because they're not here. So they don't know what we really like. They just going off of what they see on television. And then if they continue to see things like, that's the picture that's painted for a whole race of people. So it's a lot more to it than people really think. But everybody's not thinking like that. Everybody's not waking up and realizing the bigger picture. It's just we caught up in the moment. Ha ha, hoorah. We want to say all that and that. But folks, y'all better pay attention to what's really going on. It may not seem serious, but it really is.
It really is.
Yeah, it definitely is. But no, that's some really good insight. I hadn't really thought about, say, somebody that's never really interacted with not just American people, but just a Black person, and they may have watched the Oscars. And how would that particular person think about Black people now? That's something to think about.
It's just like you gotta. The biggest thing is, like we always talk about. We talk about it all the time. Whether it's in comics, whether it's in fictional media, whether it's in media or fact or real life implications, representation is everything. And what's the best way to put it? Is it the easiest thing to do sometimes? To not necessarily put on a mask of some sort, but to conduct yourself in a way that's conducive to representing the African American narrative and moving it in a way that's productive and not regressive. Which is the best way to put it. Is that the easiest thing in the world? No. But at the end of the day, like I always say, hey, you got to handle at home stuff at home, man. You can't be out here acting wild. You just can't. You just can't. And like I said, that representation is important, man, because now it doesn't look like it and you don't see it, and we're sharing the memes and it's funny, but you just made it that much harder for the next Will Smith coming up in the next 10 years. That kid right now that's going to Juilliard somewhere, or that's in performing arts, and all he wants to do is go up there on the main stage and have somebody hand him that little gold trophy. You just made it that much harder for him. And that's all I'm saying.
Definitely. Y'all hit the nail on the head for sure. That's basically what I was thinking. Yeah.
It's crazy, man. But
it is, man. It's crazy, bro. It really is.
So I want to ask you guys, as a closing remark, what are your final thoughts, not just on Will, but on Chris Rock, and what do you guys see kind of coming down the pipe with this situation?
I guess as far as Chris Rock is concerned, I don't know if it'd be controversial or not, but personally, I'm proud of him for not reciprocating. Yeah, he definitely could have. So I'm really glad that he just kind of just blew it off. But honestly, I just think he was just doing his job. Yeah, the joke might have been in bad taste or whatever, but it's like he's a comedian. His job is to get under your skin and to make jokes that might be a little left field and satirical. That's his thing.
Yeah. Agree.
I agree.
How about you,
Marcus?
With that.
I agree with that. And I agree that everybody hates Chris streams is gonna go up. No, I'm just kidding.
Through the roof, bro. Through
the roof. But nah, in all seriousness, I honestly feel like in this situation, Chris Rock is not wrong by far, because like we said, he was doing his job. And then I honestly think, from what I'm hearing, he didn't even know that's what she had. That's what
I heard a lot about
I'm hearing.
that too.
I don't know how true it is, but if it is true, then you really can't fault him because he don't know that she has that disease. He just doing what he used to do. That's what a comedian does when they get the hype, they liven it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's their bread and butter.
They Def Comedy Jam.
Yeah, they
and
pick on somebody from the crowd.
10 times worse than that. So
yeah, oh yeah.
It's just, it sucks that had to happen. And like you said, now that's gonna be like, well, now if I'm a comedian, I gotta worry about somebody coming up on stage slapping me because I talked about them. And it sucks. But like you said, it's crazy because he ain't pressed no charges. He ain't came out and said F Will Smith or none of that. So it's like he handling it way better than I thought he would, actually, because I thought it was gonna go a whole nother way. But I just hate that stuff like this has to happen because I say that the media, man, it's such a powerful entity. It can change so much. And with that, I do want to say this quote since we are close to closing. And it's from a great man, and he said, "The media is the most entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and to make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses." And that is said by the great Malcolm X, and it's so true. Sir. Because just something this holds so much power, and that's crazy, right? That something like that holds power over people, our people in general. So that's what I'm saying, man. It's a lot deeper, and it also takes away from what's going on in the world because what is everybody talking about now?
The slap.
And nothing else matters right now.
Nothing else matters, man. Nothing else matters.
That's why that quote right there carries so much with it because it's true, man. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
No, that's a great quote, man. But yeah, and I love that too. That's why we call you Professor X, bro. That's it right there.
Exactly.
I try to do what I do, man. I'm trying to do what I do.
No, that's an awesome quote. But yeah, man, in closing, like I'm completely sure that Will and Chris didn't think they were going to be the subject of one of the greatest ethics debates of all time.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. But I think there's definitely some lessons to be learned here, both on a institutional basis, dealing with media and how situations like that, what happened at the Oscars should be handled. I think there's a lesson there. There's definitely a lesson that needs to be learned from both Will Smith and Jada. And I think with that, it just has something to do with mental health, man. Because I think Whoopi Goldberg said it best. She said he snapped. And there's a lot of implications of what happened between him and his, significant other, which we won't get into, not that type of podcast. At the end of the day, we all know how that is. Things build up and they build up and they build up and sometimes they spill over. And do I think that in the long run, and Chris Rock are going to have this big feud? I think it could have been anybody. Honestly,
that's what my brother was saying. That could have probably been anybody. He just go over stage, just snap. So.
Yeah, it could have been anybody on the end of that, and unfortunately, and I think Chris knows that too. Obviously, because he hasn't put any bad words in Will's mouth, and he hasn't tried to get any money from him or anything like that. Was he shaken up? Sure. But I think at the end of the day, he realized that at some point, because unless you live under a rock or something, what's been going on. We all know what's been going on. It was a powder keg, situation, and he just exploded. But now, does that give him the a free pass to oops upside somebody's head? No. But like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, it's a great ethics debate. It's really it's a lot of growth that has to happen, and not just from Will Smith and Jada, from Chris Rock to the Oscars itself and to the media. You got to think about it this way. Jim Carrey made a great point, and it's saying, what are we going to just let happen and be okay with? I heard Joe Rogan mention the same things. When did it become okay to assault somebody and get a standing ovation? When did that become okay? I don't know.
That's not a good example. This it.
No, it's not. So it's just at the end of the day, man. Like I said, it's once the dust settles and like all of the memes stop. Like I said, I think it's going to be a little bit of a change with the Oscars and other award shows on how they operate. And like I said, I think this was a wake up call for a lot of people, man. I know all of us here at the Square Roundtable, we hope that whatever kind of, because like I said, we love Will Smith, man. Let's just gonna put that out there. No hate towards Will or his family. We love him. Everybody's great. We just hope that he gets the help that he needs. I hope that Chris Rock gets the help that he needs. And once again, these kind of conditions like alopecia and things like that, we definitely feel sorry and do apologize for anybody that was offended by that, because that's not a laughing matter. But like I said, at the end of the day, guys, it's just a learning process, and we're human. We do make mistakes. Do those mistakes cost? And do we need to be held accountable for these mistakes? Yes. I think accountability is the biggest take home that at least I'm taking away from all of this. Everybody in that party definitely needs to be held accountable.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Completely, man. Completely. But yeah, man, for all of our viewers and listeners out there, we definitely want to get your ideas and thoughts on what happened during the Oscars. And at the end of the day, guys, we made this podcast for you guys. We really hoped you enjoyed it. And on that note, y'all, we are out.
Peace.